Hello, everyone. This is author Tim Brown of the book Uncommon Athletes, and I'm on staff here in Central Ohio with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And I've been doing a video series on how to be uncommon, how to be an uncommon athlete. So I'm blessed today to have with me Coach Ed Calo from Westerville, South basketball family. I guess we'll call that part of the family. And I appreciate him joining me today. Coach is a longtime coach at Westerville. Actually goes back to, well, I'll let you tell a story. I know you grew up in Pittsburgh. How'd you guys end up in Westerville? How long have you been in Westerville?
We came over in 1972. My dad was, I'm from Pittsburgh originally. I was a sophomore in high school. And my dad got word that there was an opportunity for him to advance himself by taking a job in Columbus, Ohio. And, that was very difficult because, all my aunts, uncles, grandparents, everybody was in Pittsburgh. Tough decision for my father and mother to make. But it was, the right decision for our family. So we went out, came here. I went to Westerville High School when it was one school,
wow.
And 1974, 75, those years were my junior, senior year. Mm-hmm. And, I played basketball there, and then I went on to Slippery Rock University and came back to Columbus to be with my family, be close to my family again and start my career that way.
Yeah. So you've been the head coach. I know you started in the Southwestern School District, and you've been the head coach at Westerville South, and what, in 1987? So that's over 30, been with your 34th year?
34th year.
34th year. And not only that, you got over 500 wins as well.
Well,
so
we got
been a good run.
That's what very close.
Yeah.
But I had like 490 something.
Okay. Hey, who's counting, huh? You lose count. How was that? How was that first win? Let's go back to the first win. How was that first win? As a young coach.
Funny thing, it took me 3 games to get that first win. And I just remember we played Beechcroft at our place, and kids played really well, and we got that. And I remember, how gracious everybody was, on the other side. Really touched me. Wishing me, hey, one of many type situations. I thought that was special. Like sometimes we get into sports and sportsmanship isn't always there. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a great way to start the whole situation. But it was a struggle. The first year was a struggle. I mean, there's a reason why you come into a program and change head coaches usually. Mm-hmm. And we had some issues. We had some young men that necessarily didn't fit that culture that we wanted. So it took us a little while, but we were blessed with, and I was blessed with really people that really wanted to work hard as far as coaches are concerned, and also a group of young kids, sophomores that year that, including Jermaine Guys, who I'm still very, very close to, and I have his son on my team at this point.
Wow.
So that's that family that we're talking about.
That family, yeah. Let's talk about that family culture. I know you're big on that. I know you have a lot of assistant coaches that have come through the program that have been former players, as well as an assistant coach who's been with you for almost 30 years now. Let's talk about what that culture looks like at Westerville South.
Well, like you said, I had a lot of coaches that have been with me for a long time. Pat Palumbo is with me since my first year. Both Brad Burris and Trevor Kilmeyer, they've been with me for 25 years or so. Trevor played for me. I've had a lot of assistant coaches that were volunteered their time that played for me, including Jermaine Geis and Tim Brewer and people of that nature. I mean, just a ton of them. And, and your assistant coaches, you guys that have played for you, they certainly understand what you want, what's expected of you. Mm-hmm. And they understand the family. And, that goes a long way because now, the kids hear the message from everybody, and it's a unified message. It's a message of one. And that makes a big, big difference in what we're trying to do. So we try to create a special atmosphere. We think our program is a special program to develop young people and help them in life. We've always talked about, our goal is to win championships. There's no question about that. I'd be a hypocrite if I said that winning wasn't important. It is very important. We've been very fortunate to have some of that success, but the mission is to move young people further in life. I mean, that's just the mission. The mission is to try to make them better in all ways. And, in life, as you know, we always face adversity and toughness. There's tough situations. We've had good times, bad times. Hopefully our experience that we're worth our kids will show them that they can overcome adversity. That life always isn't good, but you can just work through it. And of course, sometimes you have to handle prosperity properly, with dignity and the proper frame of mind. Sometimes prosperity, you don't stay there very long because you start thinking differently and instead of what got you there in the first place. So culture is a big thing for us.
I know you're very involved with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, a big part of your program. What role has FCA played in your program and in your life personally? I know you're involved in the FCA coaches ministry here in Central Ohio.
Yeah, the coaches ministry, we were one of the first, I think we were the first group, the Westerville coaches were the first group to really have that ministry. Darrell Bell created that situation, invited us in. I thought that was, to just surround yourself with people of like-minded, of like beliefs, and of course, you get to, Proverbs 27:17, as iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen another. We get into that kind of situation. I thought that was very important. I've always been a person of great faith. I've always had that at the forefront of what I wanted to have in my coaching philosophy. But when we really got into that with the other coaches, I really thought that helped me and moved me further along in that situation, to share some of those experiences. And, and of course, we want our kids to see the example. We want to show the example, and it's just, in the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they can follow and see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. That's a big thing for us, to talk to the kids on a daily basis about, hey, the Lord's with us, trust the Lord. There's going to be some tough times. If you have faith, you can rely on that faith. It's going to get you through those things. Sometimes we don't get the answers we want all right away, but with trust and faith, then good things happen.
Yeah. One of your players, I interviewed one of your players was on the series, Andre Weston. He said, Coach, I remember my coach always said, iron sharpens iron, iron sharpens iron. When you hear a player say that, what did you want him to take from that? What do you think, what did you want guys to remember from that?
Well, I saw the interview. I thought that was awesome. The fact, and Andre's a special person. I could say something to Andre and not mention anything for about 3 months and then say something, start it out and he'd repeat what I said 3 months earlier, he was that zoned in, he was, that focused, and he was kind of a guy that just, absorbed everything, that you said. But, that was, iron sharpens iron was on our t-shirts. There's a mess, when I hear him, talk about that and still carrying that today, he lives it, he wants to work as hard as he can. He wants, to make people, not only himself better, but the people around him better. He wants to push himself, but he wants to push others. Him and his brother have lived that. I think that they've sharpened each other to a point of, and they're special guys, both as people and athletes. It's something that really makes you feel good that people carry with them, some of those messages.
Yeah, and I think that's so important. And not only are you becoming better, but you're sharpening the next guy. You're concerned about your teammate, not leaving anybody behind, just sharpening one another. Let's talk about that championship year, that championship team. I know in 2015, you guys got to the championship game and lost that game. And then what drove you guys to come back? And I'm going to let you tell what your theme was for that year. What was the theme for coming back in 2016?
Well, of course, everybody says that, you got unfinished business.
Right.
There's work to do. We felt that we played a great team in that state finals that we lost. Wayne, they were special and had great players. And I'm sure, by the way, Lima Senior thinks that they could have beaten us as well. But the next year, right. We felt that we had a great chance to win the state championship that year. We had our point guard got real sick. Jelani got real sick. Andre, by the way, played not even half the game because of foul trouble. So we ran into some difficult there. But you know what? We had the message that I sent in the locker room is that this is going to, what we do from this point on is going to determine our success. I mean, how do we respond to this adversity? How we respond to this disappointment is going to determine what we're going to have in front of us in the future. And I was very fortunate to work with a group of young men that were just absolutely driven. They were very, very focused. You know, I say this every year. There's probably 15 to 20 teams at the start of the season can win a state championship. They're talented enough to win a state championship. And there's very little thing separating some of these teams from time to time. Now, as the course of the season, some of those teams disappear, fall back because of maybe internal strife or disappointment, whatever the case may be. But other teams join that particular circle. You know, so when you get into the tournament, and I feel that we could have won other state championships, and we certainly could have lost that one that we won. Mm-hmm. But when you get into the state tournament, you know, it's just a matter of just persevering, just toughing it out, you know, facing the adversity. There's going to be a moment where there's going to be a crisis in a ball game. These guys responded. They just responded every single practice, every single game, you know, and that's the thing that I would leave people with. We practiced like a championship level team. Mm. You know, that was the big thing for me. You know, I felt that I had a great belief that this was going to be a championship year because every practice was of championship caliber. You know, we went there after each other every day. So that was special.
Yeah. You had a theme, a part of that team as well as 4 nets. Tell us, well, what does 4 nets mean? What does 4 nets mean?
We had that on our shirts too. You know, we won 3 nets. You know, we won. The net is, of course, cutting down the net. Right, you know, you won a championship and you cut down the net. You know, so we even practice that. And of course,
there it is. Right.
Some guys, you know, they've never been on that ladder before. They don't know what to do. So I say, hey, you know, you're going to be a champion. You got to practice it. You know,
practice it. Yeah.
So we did that. We would do that. But the 4 nets were the league championship. We want to win the league championship. Mm-hmm. That's 1 net, and we want to win the district championship, and that's the other net. And of course, the regional championship's the 3rd net, and the state championship's the 4th net. Well, we got 3 nets the year before.
Right.
So we won that 4th net.
That's good.
So our kids, you know, they put up four fingers, you know, quite a bit during the season because we won that 4th net.
Right, and it's important. Those the Bible says, "There's life and death is in the power of the tongue." You know, and we have to speak life, you know, and we have to practice those things. You know, we got to start with the end in mind, you know, and
that's
we
right.
Practice everything. Yeah, even you had to practice climbing that ladder. You didn't want to mess up now. Nobody wanted to trip going up the ladder. You didn't want that picture. And then guys got to know you don't cut the whole net.
You don't want to look foolish up there when you're up there. Everybody's looking at you.
You only get a piece of the net now. You know,
just a sliver.
Yeah, just a sliver, because the head coach gets the net now.
That's right.
Don't kid yourself now. You putting that net around your neck first. you get on the ladder, you get to wave the net on the ladder.
That's a fun thing. You know, you don't think about that, but you know, honestly, I tell you the one thing you talk about going back to culture and everything else is, you know, people say, well, how did you feel the moment you won the state championship? And my initial feeling was I was so happy for our kids. You know, the great feeling, you know, to see them running off the court like that was unbelievable. It was really a surreal moment because, you know, I really honestly didn't think much of, you know, my struggle or my journey or anything, but I did think about all the players that played before that didn't get to that point in time, but helped us with the program to get to that point, you know. And, you know, every single team that I ever coached, there was representatives from every year in that stands on that day. And that was special. That was just special.
Getting back to some other special moments. How's that? I know your son's a head coach now. Done played for you. He coached with you. Then he jumped ship, so to speak.
That's right. He just left.
Just left. How's that when you two go at it? You know, what's that like? Who's your wife cheering for? Who's she?
Well, you know, that's the thing. You know, I mean, nobody in my family really is cheering for me at that point in time. It's just, no, it's a special thing, but it's a stressful thing. You know, I love my son. I mean, he's awesome, and you know, I know he wants to beat me badly, and I'm certainly not going to let him beat me. Right. So, you know, there's that competitive juice, and I love the fact that he has those competitive juices. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a very stressful because, you know, I hurt when he loses. I do. I mean, it pains me when he loses. It pains me when I lose. You know, so it's, you know, people look at that as it's a win-win. Well, I don't necessarily see it that way. Mm-hmm. You know, I see that as, you know, somebody's going to be disappointed at the end of this night. You know, once the game starts, you really don't think about it that much. But Yeah, it's an interesting thing, but I'm real proud of him. I'm proud of how hard he works. I'm proud of, what he wants to accomplish. I know that he has the right goals and the right mindset. He's a deeply religious young man. He has, we share the same goals.
That's great. Yeah, that's wonderful. As we wrap up, this has been a great conversation. As we wrap up, can you leave something with both coaches and athletes on the importance of preparation and how to prepare in the right way? So, because we got this thing, I think we lost some of those values of the meaning of what real preparation is, how you're really ready, and in an uncommon way. Could you speak to that?
Yeah, well, I think the uncommon message and theme and everything else is beautiful. It just uncommon. And by the way, we had on our shirts at one point in time after Tony Dungy wrote the book Uncommon, Dare to be Uncommon. So many people are common. So many people are, you just follow what every other person does. There was a reverend that said, the Lord must have loved ordinary people because he made so many of us ordinary.
Yeah.
But he went on to say, every day ordinary people can do extraordinary things. Yes. So we all have those gifts. The Lord has blessed us with so many gifts. We don't necessarily even see our own gifts sometimes. So you have to work to first off identify your gifts and then utilize those gifts. Preparation is the foundation of success. And, you have to, so many times people get into a rut. You got this trainer that does this or whatever, this trainer that does that. And they do these same drills or whatever. Even, and I do fundamental drills, the same drills from day to day. But there's got to be an extra or another gear. There's got to be something that separates you from everybody else. And, a lot of people talk the talk in that regard, but they don't necessarily take that extra step. And it's not Vince Lombardi said, winning's not a sometime thing. It's an all-time thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an every moment thing. And, and a lot of people, like Michael Jordan was uncommon. Now he was to the point where he almost had a disorder. He was so crazy competitive. So not everybody is going to have to go to that extreme, but that's uncommon. What he did in his preparation is uncommon. But I think you have to challenge yourself. You have to get yourself outside your own little bubble. You have to make, too many times young people will maybe find a trainer or whatever, and they'll tell them how good they are, or their parents will tell them how good they are, instead of being, and they fall into a rut afterwards. They have to, there's a fine line. I want my athletes to be confident. I want them to believe in themselves. And yet I want them to be humble. I want them to know that they can work harder. I want them to understand that there's so much more out there, that there's always another gear. You can always get up to another level. I don't know if anybody ever, including myself, ever reaches 100% of what they're capable of. So there's work to be done as long as you have that kind of attitude and idea that you have to go to work every day and show your strengths, but understand what your weaknesses are and then continue to work on those as well. Then everything will work out in that regard. But there's a lot of work to be done. Kids just got to keep on going forward.
That's the key. There's a lot of work to be done, and they got to keep on moving forward. Well, I really enjoyed this conversation. How about your Steelers? How's that going for you? I know you're a Pittsburgh fan. I know you love about that. Yeah, I know you.
You never rest, right? You never rest. It's just they're in a good spot right now, but tomorrow's another day. And again, talking about preparation, everything else. I always tell our kids, respect everybody, fear no one. It's just a matter of, anybody can be. If you don't respect somebody, you don't prepare properly, you're going to get beat. And but if you take care of your business and do what you're supposed to do, then you have a great chance for success.
Good stuff. All right, Coach. Well, wish you a great upcoming season.
Thank you.
That's the Bill South for Wildcats. Appreciate you coming on the show today. Be blessed.